and just we'll just hop right into it, and we'll just go down the line. Start with just a brief introduction, just who you are, your agency, how long you've been involved in the race, and the different roles that you've played in the race, because not everyone's always been a team captain, and then how long you've been a team captain, if we can start with that.
Does anybody go?
Start?
Yeah, just jump right in.
I'll go.
Go for it.
I'm Mike Belknap. I'm retired from Riverside County Probation. We've been doing Baker to Vegas for, this will be our 17th year, and I've been involved every year. I've been a volunteer, I've been a runner, been a backup, and I've been the captain, I think 5 or 6 years. I forget. So,
All right.
got a lot of experience.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mike. All right.
I'll go next, I guess.
Go for it, Jeff.
Jeff Ruiz, Kern County Probation Department. Been doing Baker to Vegas. This will be our 15th year. I've been the team captain for the entire time. I had a co-captain up till about 5-6 years ago, and then since then I've been running it on my own. I usually run leg one to get it out of the way. I've been an alternate once, and then after that is when I decided also to run, and that's about the extent of that. But 15 years, going strong.
Outstanding. Thanks, Jeff. And Danny, talk to me.
All right. Okay, so my name is Danny Pascal. I'm with the U.S. Department of Labor. Our agency first got involved 2004. I first joined 2007. Soon after, I became a co-captain from 2008 through 2015. And then after the 2015 race, I started my own team because we have multiple teams for our agency. And I'm currently the captain of DOL Team Black. I've been a runner. Just this past race, I was a follow vehicle driver, but I've been involved ever since 07.
Outstanding. Thank you, guys. Let's, one of the things is I have a few teams that are saying, hey, especially the out-of-state teams. I've got people who were coming from California, went out to other agencies, and they're trying to put their teams together. And, the other agencies obviously have never participated before, and they just don't get it. They don't understand what it is. They think, hey, just, a bunch of guys that are going out for a run. And everyone kind of looks at Baker to Vegas a little bit differently. So if we can just, if you can tell me in your own words, how you would describe Baker to Vegas and what it is to you and your agency and what it does for you all. And we'll start with Danny, and then we'll go down to Jeff, and then we'll finish up with Mike.
So for us, my team is made up of staff nationwide, not just LA or a specific station. So we have people from all over. And for us, Baker to Vegas is a reunion, but it's the best non-work related team building event ever, if that makes any sense.
Sure. True. How would you describe that weekend for them? For those, again, these guys have no experience. I'm guessing that they haven't even, jumped onto YouTube or seen anything. How would you describe what that weekend is like?
I would say little to no sleep. And you better hope that before you arrive that you're going to be as organized as possible, because anything and everything will happen and go wrong. So you got to have a backup plan.
Absolutely. Like a stoppage of the race might just happen.
That might happen. Or snow, one of the two.
Or snow,
any chance down the road you can move that back to March anywhere down the road?
Yeah, but then we run into that snow problem Danny's talking about. So Jeff, help me out there. Talk to me. What is it for you all?
Well, like you said, the number one thing that I put out when we do this is the team camaraderie, because it's department wide. So you have everybody from the chief all the way down to the juvenile hall staff running together, and it's probably going to be the only time that you're ever going to get that big of a cross section of the department working together for a common goal. And it's like team building and camaraderie is the number one thing I would say is our function. It's a challenge every year. And for us over here in Bakersfield, there's us, there's sheriff, and there's BPD, the Bakersfield Police Department. And we've beaten the cops a couple times, and they didn't like that. But we have yet to beat the sheriff. And so every year it's a challenge to get everybody together, train, logistics, and for me as a team captain, it's a challenge every year. And for everybody else, it's an adventure, or it's back to or for our returning team members, it's back to the grind. As far as what the weekend is concerned, for any new captain out there that's listening, it's going to be chaos, and in a good way, because you're not going to know what to do. You can read everything and you can listen, but it's like anything else. I mean, you can hit a punching bag a million times, but not until you get in the ring does it really, resonate with you. So, but you'll love it. If you're a new captain and this is your first time doing it, after you'll be hooked. And to anybody that's, interested, if you're not really sure, go see it, go check it out. Go out to the race, and you'll be hooked because it's huge. It's worldwide.
Outstanding. Thanks, Jeff. And Mike, talk to me.
I pretty much echo the same sentiment. It's the magnitude of the event can be overwhelming. I don't think people realize just how big it is when you got 120 miles and 280 teams, and what is it, 16,000 people are there. So
yeah,
it's a lot of people. It's a lot of organization. Just when the first time I took my wife, she was just overwhelmed at how well organized the event was and how big it was, and she comes out every year now. And like they said, little to no sleep. I have been a runner and the team captain. I did the first leg one year. Unfortunately, it was really hot. And then, so the next year I took the second leg because it's much shorter and it's a little downhill.
Yeah.
So if you are going to be a captain and run, I say take the first or second leg. And It is a source of pride for our department. We got a big county. And so it's a good chance to meet other people from other offices throughout the county that you'd never come in contact. So that's what it is for me.
Perfect. I appreciate that, gentlemen. So again, as first time captain, I remember back, so I can't remember the year that I took over the LAPD training division team. It was one of those things where I'd run it a couple of times and the guy was leaving and nobody really showed any interest. And he gave me, it's been this long, he gave me a floppy disk and said, "Here you go, kid. Everything you need is on this disc. I'm out. It's all yours." And it was like, wow. And I remember that sense of, wow, this is, as you guys said, overwhelming, because I really don't know where to start. So as a new team captain, as someone who has never been out there maybe, or, has been out there as a runner. And again, when you're a runner, your focus is, hey, let me get that run in and then get back out to Vegas and hang out and have a good time. But for that new team captain that has that same anxiety that I remember having, X amount of years later, where should they be right now? What should their thought process be right now? Where should they be in their planning? Those types of things. And we'll start with Mike.
Well, I hope they've got their runners and volunteers lined up. I know for us, we always have a core of about 10 to 12 runners, and then getting those last 8 can always be difficult. So they've got to be doing a lot of recruiting. And, we have in probation, we have the juvenile institutions. You got to always hit them. They're hard to get out there for practice runs because they got to work weekends. So, and then, even go out to the desert, Palm Springs, and try and recruit people. You want to be probably halfway to your goal in fundraising. I would think maybe about $5,000 would be at the bare minimum you would need to fundraise. That would include the entry fee. And if you don't have a co-captain, I don't know how he does it on his own, but get a co-captain and start
Excuse me,
delegating.
Black.
Yeah, I
Jet
had,
black.
when I was captain, I had people in charge of fundraising. I had people in charge of, I had a runner's captain. I had a co-captain. You just have a volunteer coordinator.
Wow, you were blessed. My goodness.
Yeah.
You had a team behind you, because I was much like Jeff. It was like, hey, yeah, here you go, kid. And nobody else stepped forward.
Yeah, well, I did a lot of recruiting, and when we first get people in, the new people, I'd hit them up, and I think they probably felt a little intimidated and felt like they had to do it. So,
Yeah,
that works too.
fresh
Absolutely.
new officers.
But also the thing with when you're recruiting the runners, a lot of them don't think they're good enough. And if you could just get them out to a team run, they usually see it's not that they're not that far off. Because we have a couple of good runners, and so they just think, oh well, that person runs 7-minute miles. I can only do a 10. Well, if you can run a 9.5, you're making our team. So. So we just need to get them out there, and a lot of people do see they're not that far off. Others don't quite make the team, but they like the whole experience. And then the next year they're training the whole time, and then they make the team. And some of them end up being our better runners after a couple years. So
good. Thank you. Jeff, talk to me. What do we got?
Well, like you said, the number one thing right now, money. You definitely want to have, you need to have your funding, because the entry fee, and then just like you said, the bare minimum supplies, waters, things for the runners. I don't know, vehicle situation, how that's going to be, but you definitely want to be, your fundraising going. For me, that was like the hardest part, because I hate running around asking people for money. And then we've done several different fundraisers, and finally we kind of got it settled down to 2. We do a gift card basket at Christmas that's worth about $1,000, and we do a fireworks booth. So those are our biggest fundraisers. Runners, at least right now, you have to have your runners at least have, like you said, a good core. And if it's your first year, and that you have casual runners, just make sure you let them know, look, man, our goal is to finish and just do the best we can. If you feel you're not fast enough, don't sweat it. Get out here and let's do this. If you're very brand new, because like I said, like he said, they get out there after their first year and they see what it's all about, and then they start getting the bug, and then they start training for a year, and then they start getting ready for it. And then like you said, your volunteer support crew. I mean, be sniffing around people. I'm relentless. I don't stop bugging people. If you tell me you're interested, until you tell me no, I'm done. I will bug you until I get an answer, yes or no. So, and just don't be afraid to shake trees and find out, who's interested and who's not. So, and then like training runs, we try to get those going now, and we start our timed runs in January, and then end them in February. And then we can give people like about a good six solid weeks to train for their legs. And, and definitely, if you're brand new, you want them running a 10K, and you want to have hills in that 10K. Because
you mean there's hills out there in the desert?
There's hills in Bakersfield, but you got to run to the east side. But yeah, try to run. Yeah, you're right. You're totally right about that, because people think, if you all just run a 10K around the track, it's not it's not going to give you an idea of your team. Put them on hills, and then you'll find out, where they are. So that's what I would say right now. Is just get your runners ready.
Danny, what do you got for us?
On one thing. I'm sorry, real quick. Yeah, our
Jeff.
first year, we had 20 runners, one alternate, and one follow crew. So this poor follow crew was in the same vehicle for over 22 hours. And that alternate just sat there.
Rough.
And we did it. But I'm just saying, yeah, you might have a bare minimum that first year, but after that it picked up. But, yeah.
Wow.
Go for it, Danny. Talk to me.
Okay, so I would try to, if I was new, I would try to find as many experienced captains as possible and ask questions. That's one thing that I did from the get-go, is that I asked Chuck to put me in touch with some captains and some experienced teams so that I could, shoot some ideas off them, things like that. Chuck also gave me some information, like one of the things you always have to do, especially for your drivers, your shuttle drivers for the runners or the follow vehicle, you should have a schedule. And so once I was able to get a schedule and understand exactly like the timing when people were leaving, when, who's taking who and what's what, that thing works like gold. And so we follow it every year. And people know exactly when to leave the hotel. They know exactly when they're going to arrive and wait and start training or warming up for the leg, and it works out. And so having a plan, having a schedule for both your follow vehicle drivers, shuttle drivers, and your runners, it's going to make your life a lot easier. Recruit early. Like, we just started sending out the recruitment a couple weeks ago, and you might think, oh man, that's too early, but it's really not, because next thing you know, the host hotel is going to be sold out, and everyone wants to stay there. So we got to get that information out. And then finally, make sure they train. Jeff and Mike talked about training. One year we actually had someone go down, and it really made me think, like, we need to do a better job of training. So Cal State PD, he actually, Artie, I think his name is, he had his training program, and I copied it. And so from there, 2 5Ks and then 2 10Ks over the course of 4 months. And that, got us into shape really quick. So, my advice is to ask a lot of questions as someone who can, give you some good information.
Now, Danny, you hit a couple times on asking for help, and you finished right now with that. And how have you found it? Meaning, have you found it easy approaching the other team captains? Have they been forthcoming with information? Explain that experience, because sometimes it can be, again, a little intimidating. Hey, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to show that I don't know what I'm doing. We're cops. We always have to be in charge, right? We always have to know what's going on. So sometimes it's a little hard to reach out, and then sometimes when you do reach out, last thing you want is somebody who's not really willing to help you out. What's been your experience with some of the team captains?
So one situation was, I asked Chuck Foote, can you put me in touch with some federal team captains? And he reached out to a few, and then they contacted me back, and we were able to start a dialogue. And so that lasted maybe a year or two, and I got to, really understand how the race was going on. But what really worked was when we had in-person meetings over at the LAPD Academy, sitting at those tables, you just shoot the breeze with everybody and say, hey, what do you guys do? Oh, this is what we do. And so that was another great way of putting ideas together for our team.
Okay. And have either Jeff or Mike, have you guys found that works for you guys? Have you guys had any experience reaching out to other teams and asking for help? Or you just kind of put it all together and trial by error type deal?
Yeah, I've never had any issue with people not wanting to help. They're always more than willing. I, see them at the parties, at the meetings, the in-person meetings. One of the LA County probation captain for years, he's no longer, but he ran trainings, and he helped us out all the time. And in fact, he even donated to us, a couple $100 for our fundraising.
Oh, nice.
So,
okay, good. Jeff.
Well, like the schedule that was talked about earlier, I stole that from Beverly Hills PD. I still remember that. I Googled it in 2009 and Vegas, and I came across their run plan, and I've been using that same one for the whole time. I never really talked to anybody because, like you said, I'm just, I was intimidated, and I just didn't really ask around. But the one thing I will talk about as far as helping out is that when you're out there, everybody does help out. One year, my ex co-captain, glad, forgot some things, and we were down signs, we were down water, we were down some things, and everybody out there just pitched in and helped us out. We got water from other teams, tape, signs, whatever. I mean, it's a competition, but it's still camaraderie out there. So maybe if down earlier I had not been afraid to ask people, you know, I might have avoided some hiccups. But I think we're all here to help. I think we're all here to, you know, see each other succeed. I don't know how it is in the elite level, top 10. I don't know how those guys treat each other, but I know down here in our mortal world, I think we're all willing to help. But you know, those elite teams, I don't know how they treat each other. So, I don't know.
No, you know, I've found the same thing as you guys have already expressed. I found that, you know, before being in the position that I'm currently in, I found it pretty easy where people were willing to help out. I remember, you know, when we're staging up our vehicles and getting, you know, the checklist signed off and everything, you know, we were missing a team. It was Detroit's first year. And, you know, obviously they didn't understand the traffic or the length involved from the 15 freeway to the checkpoint, because you just usually don't. You're like, hey, just get off the 15 and I'm there. And it's a little bit of a trek, I guess. And they got there a little late and they came in, you know, brakes hot, and they slid right in, and we all jumped out of our follow vehicles and we got their vehicle ready, or helped them get it all checked off and ready, and you know, putting the signs on and the tape where it's supposed to be and get the light bar up and all that good stuff. Because like you guys already said, I mean, we're competing against each other, yes, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we can all compete against each other. You know, we don't want anybody left out. We know what it's like to get out there and, you know, forget something, a sign or water or something, or both. So,
Lighted vests, that was another one.
Yes. Yeah, I've loaned a few lighted vests that are, I'm sure, still making their rounds out there.
Yeah, those are gold out there at night. Those are gold.
Yeah, they are. Like, yeah, I'll catch you at the next one. I never found you, but it's all right. It's all good. Any last words that you have for people, again, agencies that are thinking about it, or the ones that are truly new team captains that have been put in this position? They're already, hey, we're doing this, but I don't know what I'm doing. Any last words for them? We'll start with Jeff, and then we'll go Danny, and we'll finish up with Mike.
I would just say, you know, you're going to love it. And I know it's scary. I know it feels overwhelming. I know that the whole scope of it can be, it's daunting, but get out there, see it. And, you know, like I said, just make the goal of finishing if you have a bare minimum, and you will love it. And I mean, that's all I can say. That's just from my experience. It's been a blast. And even, you know, sometimes after COVID, I'll be, you know, I bugged Rick till no end. And then we had the race. And even before the race started, I'll be straight with you. I was like, you know, I'm not sure if this is where I'm going to keep doing, because I hadn't done it, you know, in a few years. But then the moment we were done, I'm back, you know.
Sure.
So that's all I can say. So it's addicting. And, you know, to any new captains, if you're watching this, you know, Rick has my information. I'm more than willing to help or answer questions if, you know, if you need it. But just give it a shot, get out there, and I promise you'll be hooked.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeff. Danny, talk to us.
Yeah. So, couple things. If you have runners, if you have backup runners, you know, you should really have the mindset of having them prepare to run. Just this past April, because of the whole flight situation coming out of the pandemic, I had 2 runners, their flights got canceled. So one of my backups had to run a really tough leg. And then luckily the other runner was able to catch another flight and make it in time for his run. So, you know, always have that backup. Another thing, and it might sound, you know, silly, but for your runners, make sure that they stay close enough to the speaker at the exchange point so they can hear your number. I don't know how many
Mhm.
times people have gone to the
Yeah.
restroom, and then 6-10 minutes later, there's a baton sitting on the table. You
People
know?
are screaming
Yeah.
the team number. Team 100! Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so
That's a good point,
that
Danny.
that's
Yeah,
a little
for
bit
sure.
of
Very good
advice.
point. Very good point.
Yeah. So like Rick, and I'm sure Mike feels the same way. If anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to me through Rick. I'm glad to help. I've been doing this a long time, and I still enjoy it. So definitely.
Mike, talk to us.
I would get your chief or administration to buy in to support you. That makes things a lot easier. Talk to the union. Our union in Riverside, they started covering all our entrance fees for all the teams in Riverside. So, well, the county teams, the sheriff and probation teams, but the sheriff has like 4 teams. So, and then I know Murrieta PD, their city council puts their entrance fee in their city budget because they want to support their police department as much as possible.
Wow,
So,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Wow.
So if you can
Very cool.
talk to some of those big ones, what is it, $2,800 for the entrance fee?
2,300. 2,300 this year.
2,300. That's still a big chunk of change, but if you
It
can get
is,
someone
for
else to
sure.
cover it for you, you pay a lot of money to the unions, so they're usually willing to help out. And then, like they both said, I'm always willing to help out. I'm retired now, so you don't need to worry about bugging me at work. And you will be hooked once you go. That first year, I was one of those people that just wanted to hurry up and get back to Vegas. I was an alternate for like 5 legs. And as it turned out, I couldn't get a ride back to Vegas till after midnight. So I said, forget this. I'm running from now on. But then I saw what it was, and I wanted to be the captain. So, I took over as captain, and I did that for 4 or 5 years. It's no sleep, but it's fun. It's an adrenaline rush, and just all that organization, and you see everything coming together. And even though it is chaotic and it looks like you're never going to get anything done, it usually does go off without much of a hitch. I think the first year we had a problem with a runner not showing up until 5 minutes before her leg started. But other than that, it's been pretty good. They always find their legs. They always know where to go. That's what I recommend.
Outstanding. No, it's definitely a lot of fun. And go ahead, Danny.
I was just going to add. So Mike mentioned about fundraising about 5,000 less the 3,000 plus the entry fee. But some of the things that people need to consider buying with the money that you raise. You got to get a fall vehicle unless someone's going to lend you their van. Mugs, extra mugs, because you're only given 24. Like for my team, when we mugged, I like to get one for everybody. So that's about $800. Water, snacks, gas cards, and then for our team, we rent radios, and so that really helps out as well. So that's where your money goes.
Yeah, and a lot of them are just one-time buys, like the radios, or because we bought some radios just to communicate amongst ourselves on the course. That's just a one-time purchase, so you can use those over and over again.
Yeah, for sure. And for those of you who don't know, let's see if I can grab one of these here. Give me one sec. The mugs. These are
what everybody wants.
Yeah, this is why we run through the desert, right?
Yeah,
for this mug here. For sure. We go through and run through the desert for a mug that we can fill.
I don't know how many first-time teams are going to get mugs, though.
Who knows?
You know what? You know what though? That first year we were there, and I heard about you hear about the mugs. You're like, well, okay, whatever. But when you're walking through that award ceremony and somebody's got a mug in their hand and you don't, you feel inadequate. It's true. I mean, that's the goal. That's what motivates you. It's like, we're gonna get the mug. We're gonna get a mug this year. That's like the goal. Is if you don't get it that year, you see everybody rocking around with it, and they just have a better sense of themselves, man.
Yeah, we all go out there
man.
for the. I agree, man. Wholeheartedly, I understand. I've been on the wrong end many a times.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know if off the top of your head, I know there's one team we see them almost every year, I think, and their sign says 15 years, no mug, 16 years,
Yes,
no
I
mug.
did
And
see
it's
that.
just like, yeah, so,
Isn't that CHP
I mean, maybe that,
downtown LA?
It
They have
might
that
be.
sign.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. They
God
have a
bless 'em
sign
for
that
keep
says
coming
so
out.
many years
It's
without
the
it.
mug, the mugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
You
Rick,
know,
I was going to mention
back-
one more thing if I could. I'm sorry.
Yeah, please, Danny.
If I can
No, go
mention
ahead.
one more thing. So for the new teams, you also need to think about, like, I mentioned schedules and so forth. You got to be strategic on getting your runners to their stages, because if you try to take the 15 South through Baker and go that way, depending on your start time, you might be stuck behind a couple stages. So there's actually a back road. I want to say it's off 14, right?
15.
Stage
I think
14,
it is.
15.
Yeah, between 14 and
So you
15, one of those two. It's Old Spanish Trail.
That's it. And you can cut straight
Yeah.
through and then you come out right around 5 and 6, right? So
Yes.
there's a lot of different ways you can go.
For sure. Yeah. No, I use that shortcut all the time because I used to run 4. So I'd come out and I think it's Tacopa on that side. And then as you cut through, it turns into Old Spanish Trail and leads you right there at mid
Right.
base. So
Yeah.
yeah, great. Great. No, what I was saying is, coming back off the pandemic, that Friday night was like a huge reunion, man. I don't know how many of you guys were hanging out there, but it was great to see everybody. Everyone was just having an absolute blast of a time, which probably led to some of the problems that we had on Saturday. But oh well. But no,
I'm curious, Rick. Do you know, like right now, how many teams you have registered as opposed to last year? Is there more? Is it the same?
I want to say we had more registered last year, but I think everyone was anticipating the return in the day that I started I opened up registration. We had a lot of people jump. This year it's trickling, but we do anticipate well over 200 teams. I think we had 215, 216 last year.
Okay.
We're anticipating somewhere in the 225 to 250 number. So there will be an increase, and no, it'll be a lot of fun. It's a great time, but I always tell people you cannot cheat the desert, man. The desert will win every single time. So for those new teams, make sure that your guys and gals are taking care of themselves. Also, I know Jeff, I know you use it. One way of keeping your runners accountable is through the running apps.
Strava.
Yeah, Strava. I know your team's on Strava. I've seen your guys' runs and things like that, and that's always a tool that you can use to track everyone's progress. Because like Danny's got a nationwide team. It's tough to get together and run, but if we're all checking in on the run apps, it's a little bit easier to hold people accountable.
Yeah. We're on Strava too. So.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
It keeps people motivated to move because you can see their progress and what they're doing and if they're not training and stuff. So yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, all of a sudden you start calling people out. Hey, I haven't seen any runs in a little bit. What's up?
Yeah.
So
Hey, you can't hide.
yeah, that's right. So, well, gentlemen, I thank you guys for your time. If there's anything else that you want to add, now's the time. Throw it out there. No, all right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Like I said, we're gonna post this on our YouTube channel, and hopefully, I think it's gonna do a lot of good for the new team captains, and like I said, those teams that are still on the bubble as to whether or not they want to join the party or not. So, thank you guys. You guys stay safe out there, and you guys take care.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Mike.
See you guys in
Thanks,
April.
Jeff. Take care.
Yeah.
All right.